There is a dirty secret in RAG applications in the industry right now. Most of these apps are feeding bad chunks into their LLMs. When you split documents wrong in a RAG app, it's like trying to find a specific answer in a 500-page book without chapters or paragraphs. Large language models face the same challenge. Too much context and they get confused and hallucinate. Too little and they miss crucial connections. Today, you'll learn how to find that perfect balance using pgai Vectorizer, testing different chunking strategies with just SQL. And whether you're building a customer support app or a document search system, you'll see how to optimize your RAG system's accuracy without managing complex pipelines. Hey everyone, I'm Jacky, a developer advocate at Timescale working on the AI team. Today, I'll demonstrate how to test different RAG chunking strategies using pgai Vectorizer, which eliminates the need for custom pipeline management. By leveraging SQL, we can efficiently experiment with different strategies while maintaining automatic synchronization with our data source. Now that we understand the problem with chunking and why it's important, let me show you different ways to chunk documents by building your first RAG application. And just a heads up, you can build this RAG app in our self-hosted Docker version, but today, I will walk you through this in Timescale Cloud, since it's the quickest and simplest way to get started. And if you haven't already, head over to timescale.com to create your account. We have a very generous free trial that gives you plenty of room to experiment, so don't worry about hitting limits while following this demo. When you're in the Timescale console, which is here, you'll see our setup wizard. Since we're building a RAG application, we'll focus on the AI and vector services. And I'm going to disable the time series features for now, which we can always re-enable later if needed. I'm going to quickly choose a region, which is US East. Choose the smallest vector size. We're in development mode, keep that clicked. And we're going to save and continue and quickly give it a name. Let's call it Vectorizer Demo. Create the service. While this is being built, I'm going to download my database configs to my local machine. I know that I'm experimenting with AI, and my goal is to build a RAG system. We also have a ton of great recommended resources. And in this case, you can read our blogs on RAG. Looks like our service was just created. I'm going to click right into it. And I see that there is a modal here that tells that we can start building AI systems with PostgreSQL. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. In order to use the pgai Vectorizer, we have to add the API keys for OpenAI. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I already have created one. I'm going to copy and paste this and add the API key. And we're taken to the third part of this wizard, which is the fun stuff. We get to create our table, insert data into it, build our vectorizer, and start asking questions on the data that we inserted. You'll see two different ways to create, which is one, you bring your own data, or we create with sample data. For today's example, we're going to create sample data. Now, we're creating a blogs table, which contains title, content, and URL. And then we're going to insert some blog posts into this table. We're going to be inserting 4 blogs where GPT-4o is the title, what I wish someone had told me, the strength of being misunderstood, etc. This is the content. This is the entire blog posts. And click run. Then we're going to create our first vectorizer. And don't worry if you get confused. I'm going to elaborate on this in a later section. But let's click run first. And once you create the vectorizer, you can actually check the status of it. As you can see here, we have 4 pending vectorizers being created for the 4 blog posts. And I see that is ready now. Let's run this again. And we see that there's 0 pending items, which means that they have completed. And I can also run a query where I check all the embeddings that are created. And we're going to show the top 6. We have 3 chunks per blog. And each chunk contains the title, the URL, as well as the content itself based on the chunk. And we can also see that there's embedding. Let's click this. And we're going to stop here because we're going to skip step 6, 7, 8 because I'm going to elaborate in a later section on what we're going to do here. Finally, we get to the exciting parts. Let's talk about document chunking. Different chunking strategies can really impact your RAG application's performance and accuracy. Think of it like this. You have a textbook and you're cutting it up. You could cut every 50 pages, which is basic splitting. You can also cut it at chapter breaks, which is recursive chunking, or add detailed labels to smaller sections, which is also known as metadata-rich chunks. Your choice in this type of chunking affects how well your system can find and understand information. Basically, it affects your accuracy. In this section, let's explore how to implement and compare these different strategies. We're going to have 1, the recursive chunking, which respects natural text boundaries. 2nd, we're going to have basic character splitting, which are equal-sized pieces. Then we have metadata-rich chunks, which adds context like titles and URLs. And finally, we have a document-aware chunking, which follows HTML structure. Let us start with the chunking method that we recommend, which is the recursive character text splitter. This is the smartest and most recommended approach. It starts by trying to split text at natural breakpoints like paragraphs, and then falls back to sentences, and finally to words if needed. Think of it like cutting a cake. You first try to cut at the marked lines, but if the pieces are still too big, you make additional cuts at the next best spot. And this is the code. Let's start with the first query. This code shows how to set up and view results from a recursive chunking strategy in pgai. First, it creates a vectorizer, right here, that processes text from a blog post, a blog table, using the OpenAI embedding of the text embedding 3 small. Then the chunking strategy starts by trying to split text at paragraph breaks, then falls back to simpler breaks like sentences or words if needed, and then keeps chunks at around 800 characters with a 400 character overlap to maintain context. In the second query here, which I'm going to run later, it shows you the first 5 results of this processing, displaying each chunk's ID, title, URL, and the actual text chunk, and its vector embedding. Let's create this. I'm going to copy this code, run it, and we see that it is trying to create Vectorizer. Good. I'm going to run the code that shows us the top 5 results of the chunks that were split, and we can actually dive right into the chunks. And we can see that this is the chunk that got split. And of course, we have the embeddings. Next, let's talk about the simple character text splitter, which is the second weighted chunk. This is the basic no-frills approach. It splits text at a single type of separator, like new lines, and that's it. It's like cutting a piece of paper exactly every 800 characters, regardless of what's written there. Use this when your text has a very predictable structure, or when simplicity is more important than preserving context. Unlike the recursive method, this uses a more basic approach that splits text only at new lines, as you can see here, and then creates chunks of 800 characters with 400 character overlaps. And of course, after creating this simpler vectorizer, it shows the first 5 results, including each chunk's ID, title, URL, content, and vector embeddings. I'm going to show the results. And as you can see here, we have the chunks, which are very uniformly chunked. Next, let's talk about the third way, which is adding formatting to chunks. This strategy isn't about how to split the text, but more rather what additional information to keep with each chunk. It's like attaching a sticky note to each piece of information with important details like the title and URL. And this helps give context to each chunk when it's used later in your RAG application. And so let's look at this code real quick. It shows how to add metadata to these chunks while using recursive splitting, which is the same method that we used before. Adds extra formatting steps that prepends each chunk with its title and URL. Instead of just storing the plain text chunks with each information now includes the title, which is the article title, the URL, which is the article's URL, before the actual content per chunk. This gives your RAG system more context about where each chunk comes from, which can help it provide more accurate and well-referenced responses. So let's run this. And there you go. We can see that now each chunk has a title, which is GPT-4o, the URL, which is this link to Sam Altman's blog, and the content itself. Now there's more context about each chunk that the system can reference. And for this one, the title is what I wish someone had told me, the URL, and of course, the content. Now, last but not least, we have the fourth way of chunking, which is more specific because this is for HTML content chunking. As its name suggests, this is specifically designed for HTML documents, and it respects HTML structure by splitting at logical document sections like the article's end, div end, section end, paragraphs, and as a last resort, down to the words. And you can see that these separators are defined here, where it starts with the major sections of articles, and then to the div, to the section, paragraph, breaks, list items, sentences, and finally, words as the last resort. This uses the same embedding API, which is OpenAI's text embedding, and it uses the same chunking recursive character text splitter. And as the same as before, you can see the chunks by running this line of code. As the final step of our RAG app, we now create a custom SQL function called generateRAGResponse, which we can call in our editor that ties everything together. This function takes a user's question, known as query text here, the chunking strategy, which we created in previous steps, and then finds the 5 most relevant chunks from the chosen chunking strategy, and sends them with the question to GPT-4 Mini. The AI is instructed to answer using only the provided context and cite which blog posts it used. This is the actual piece that makes your RAG app interactive, letting users ask questions and get answers based on their content. Now, let's run this and create this function. Do you remember the 3 chunking strategies that we just created? Recursive, simple, and recursive with metadata. To compare different chunking methods in real-world use, you can test them against each other using a simple SQL query. Let you see how each method performs with the same question. Strategy 1 here splits text smartly and adds formatting. Strategy 2 just splits the text simply. And then strategy 3 splits text smartly while adding extra information like titles and URLs. And by comparing all these 3 responses, you can see which method gives you the best results for your specific needs. Now let's copy this and run it. With that said, while this gives you a quick vibe check of how each strategy performs, for your production systems, you should really run systematic evals with a test dataset to properly compare results. Now you can see that we have 3 strategies, and each response is slightly different based on how it's chunked. Thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this entire video. Now you should understand why choosing the right chunking strategy is crucial for building effective RAG applications. In this video, we explored 4 different chunking strategies in Timescale Cloud using pgai Vectorizer, from basic text splitting to sophisticated recursive chunking for HTML. The power of pgai Vectorizer is that it lets you experiment with different strategies right in Postgres. Whether you're working with articles, HTML, or structured data, you can optimize your RAG system using directly SQL commands and functions, something super familiar to all of us. You can get started with pgai Vectorizer in early access today. You can either deploy it on Timescale Cloud, which is what I showed you, or you can self-host in your own environment using Docker. But don't forget to star us on GitHub and join our Discord community for support and discussion. I will also share links to docs, blog, and our forum right after this. Now, let me ask you, what type of app are you building?